Hi and welcome everyone. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Let's analyze the price of Bitcoin here together and get right into it. Okay, let me just switch myself on here. Can everyone see me? Are we all good? Are we live? First things first, I'm not feeling too well. Everyone in the house is sick. My child fell sick over the weekend and now she's infected all of us. So I'm going to keep this brief and bright and powerful so I can go and lay down and just have a nice little bit of a recovery. But nevertheless, let's analyze the price of Bitcoin. What is going on? Is this the true breakout? That was the fake out over there. Is this the true breakout? Well, we're going to see what happens here. What is CBD telling us? What is liquidity telling us? Perhaps jump into a little bit of altcoins. Please share. And yeah, let's get right into it. I don't see any comments as yet, but if you're watching, welcome. And first things first, let's dive into a little bit of market sentiment and see. Let me just put the music a little bit softer here. Okay, I hope that is good. You can still hear the music in the background and you can hear my voice clearly. So please let me know in the comments if it's all good. Right, okay, cool. Let's dive into some market sentiment first. This was the decision for today. Are we going to break up or are we going to break down? And we had this nice little fake out here to the top. Okay, so for now, it looks like we are breaking up and it looks like CVD is supporting this move going up as well. Okay, little bit of news here. Bitcoin usually makes a touch on the tweakly on the 20-week EMA at this point in its count. Unclear if the Jan week qualifies, but once confirmed, the next target is 100,000. Okay, cool. So you can see we barely touched the 20-week EMA, and perhaps another week down for a confirmed touch will give us and send us that momentum to the upside. Okay, cool. Other news. BlackRock, you know, this ETF news is really starting to drive me crazy now, but nonetheless, BlackRock now reports and holds 72,000 Bitcoin, which equates to $3.1 billion. Quite a lot of money. Yes, their balance sheet, and I mean, this is a publicly traded company, so they have to make this available. So from this amount, you can see there are still people buying at this level. Some people still don't believe that this is the top, and they are aggressively accumulating. $3.1 billion is no joke. Okay, so some bullish news for Bitcoin at the moment. Right, the Fed expects to make 3 rate cuts this year. Powell says. I think the one thing about rate cuts, it's quite bullish for the market. I mean, the money printer goes on and people start printing money. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is that the reason the Fed starts printing money is because the economy is in a recession or about to enter into a recession. So I do expect a little bit of a bad month or two once the money printer goes on, before we will see a sharp incline in risk on assets. Okay, so it's not to say, even with the halving coming up, my sense is even with the halving in mid-April to end of April coming up, it's not a matter of the halving kicks in and then all of a sudden Bitcoin jumps 100% into the air. I think, you know, if you go and decipher the previous market cycles, you can see that there's usually a dip before or after the halving that then shoots the price into the air, you know. And I suppose it's for big institutions loading up, it's absorbing the recession. And but nonetheless, good news. Some 3 rate cuts this year will definitely be a good thing for risk on assets like Bitcoin and all our altcoins that we love to trade. Right, next up. Big breaking. Bitcoin crypto Donald Trump will likely win the US elections in 2024 according to many surveys. Okay, so I mean, Donald is pro Bitcoin, so definitely some bullish news over there. Perhaps all the banning will stop and you know, ease off some of the legislations. Just in, Bitcoin is safe, stable and conservative. Apple co-founder Steve, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that surname. Okay, I'm just might trip and fall over it. But the co-founder from Apple gives Bitcoin the thumbs up. So some bullish sentiment still out there. Next up, is digital gold, it's a statement. Bitcoin is digital gold. 9 trillion BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. Okay, but I mean, it's not going to go to 9 trillion overnight. That's about a 9-10x from where we are right now. And so yeah, still bullish news for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has finally happened. After 8 years, the indicator has made a bullish cross on the monthly. So here you can see when we made the first bullish cross. In 2016, we had a rampage to the upside, but I still see a little bit of a correction over there. Okay, will this time be different? We are now here in 2024, and this indicator has flashed bullish buying signals. Okay, cool. So some bullish news up there, and I guess this just comes to show that the best trading strategy is dollar cost average, because you never know whether we are at the top or whether we close to the bottom. Okay, so every month you just buy a little bit, and you ride this wave up for some significant profits during the next bull cycle. Last up, let's see what is happening here. Bitcoin uptime. I think this is with regards to the Solana that went down today. Okay, Solana is experiencing its 11th outage in the last 2 years. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is 99.98888. Well, you can say 100% uptime. Okay. I do think that Solana needs to grow up a little bit. A bold statement, and I know there's a lot of Solana lovers out there, including myself. I hold a big bag of Solana, but it is really disappointing to see Solana, having a little bit of downtime today, and definitely a loss in confidence from some big institutional buyers out there. Right, and we'll just have to observe and see how this impacts the price of Solana going forward. Okay, now let's get into why we are all here. Let me just say hi to the community. Hi, Willem Tiart. Hello, I see you. Thanks, moderator. I've made you moderator today, so please help me out here. Welcome. Julian, hi Dewald, nice to see you live. Nice to see you too. Hi Dewald, nice to see you live. What do you think about ETH ETF? Will it be like Bitcoin ETF? What max price can be achieved in the next bull run? Just your guess. Cool. So yeah, we can definitely go a little bit through ETH and analyze Bitcoin. Obviously, that's why I'm here. Let's look at ETH, where the Elliott wave or the Fib extensions can take us from an ETH perspective. And there's also a couple of interesting things I want to show everyone about ETH. And I know that there's a lot of word going around. It's almost like the forgotten child. And perhaps this forgotten child is going to make itself known very soon based on what I'm seeing on the charts. Okay, cool. As always, please, if you'd like to trade with me, I've got some of the best bonuses. Bybit, Mexi, and BingX, 3 of my favorite exchanges that I like to trade on. So please go sign up and come trade with me. Right, next up, let's analyze the price of Bitcoin here. Okay, so quite interesting price action. I've just kept the symmetrical triangle to see what's going to happen. We had this little fake out to the upside, and just from an education perspective, do a little bit of a recap yesterday. Okay, so yesterday when we had this breakout to the top, it looked very bullish, and as per even the communication to our community, we said, well, it would be nice to come and grab all the liquidity above these highs. Okay, when you go and look at the liquidity heat map, I think I've got it over here. You can see, well, it's actually dried up now a little bit, so perhaps more people are switching long. But yesterday there was massive liquidity and still a bit of liquidity here up until the $44,000 mark. Okay, so quite frustrating that we grabbed some of the liquidity and then we turned around. Okay, but from a CVD perspective, when you go onto the CVD, this is what the interesting part was, and this is what I traded yesterday, is to say that, let me just refresh my memory. Okay, we made nice bullish CVD between these two pivots, obviously yellow. So let me grab my tool, show everyone. Okay, bullish CVD, or rather bullish CVD, okay, of which the target was this high and we didn't claim it. And then we went into this move over here. I just want to see from a market structure where I am. I think, let me zoom into the 15-minute. Time frame is a little bit small here. Okay, cool. Interesting price action over here. Okay, I just want to see, yesterday we had bullish CVD between these two pivots. And for those of you that don't know how CVD works, so basically when price is moving up and you make lower highs, okay, like here, lower highs, bullish CVD, and lower low on CVD, that is very bullish for the market. Okay, and the basics about CVD is to say that, well, when you see bullish CVD like over here, okay, CVD moving down, price action making a higher low, lower low on CVD, the target is the high over here. Okay, and that is the trade that I took yesterday, is to say that, well, although there was a lot of liquidity here above these levels, okay, the target for the CVD was this level over here, and I highlighted this in my YouTube update yesterday as well, but I would have liked the price to go higher because it's, you there already, why not just grab the liquidity? Okay, nevertheless, I took profits here. Okay, I played the little breakout of trend, good risk management, and I took profits. And then this happened. Okay, not nice, little fake out to the upside, but now it looks like we're getting nice continuation to the upside. And will it hold? So let's go back to the price of Bitcoin and see what's happening here. Okay, first things, I'll switch on some levels analysis. Let's put on some weekly levels and daily levels and see what is happening over here. Okay, cool. So this little fake out grabbed the liquidity above this high, and you can also argue that this is a swing failure. Okay, nice little swing failure over there. From your clear pivots, you can have obvious swing failures where you broke through, you got acceptance back below the level, you retested it, and you found momentum to the downside. Okay, just want to, out of interest, see from a FIP perspective, where did that take us? Okay, nice here, also in confluence with the 786. Right, so you have the 786, you have a high CVD target, and then definitely an acceptable short position over here. Right, and that's where I took profits. I didn't switch into a short position. I was busy with other things, but nonetheless, I did my trade for the day. Quite happy with the gains that I made with this little movement up here. Okay, now we have this little structure over here. Okay, so if I go onto smaller time frames, and I was playing around just before I went live to say that, well, how can we count from an Elliott wave perspective, where can this move potentially take us, or can we turn around here? And I mean, the market is here to surprise us. You can go anyway. Is what if this is a 1, 2, and we are busy with the third wave? There's a one scenario that I have in mind, is to say that, well, if this is a 1, 2, and we are busy with the third wave to the upside, and you can see we're getting some nice decent green volume kicking in, which are signs of a third wave. You just want to see this level hold and us not breaking down, is to say that if you take a FIP, trend-based FIP, from the bottom to the high that we've made, to the low, how ironic is it that the 1.618 aligns here with a weekly level where all that beautiful liquidity lies, and it's also about, you know, right around about that $44,000 mark. Okay, so if this is a 1, 2, 3 to the upside, definitely we have some confluence with a third wave target, where it could look something like this, where you have a 1, 2, potential 3, 4 for a little retracement, and then 5, you grab the liquidity and then you tumble down. But it can also be a 3-wave structure where this is an A, B, C, and we don't have 5 and 4. It ends there and it falls down. Okay, so definitely two scenarios that I'm keeping in mind is to say that, well, if we do get here, this weekly level is extremely important to observe from a swing failure perspective. Okay, you want to see us break out potentially and get acceptance back below for potential swing failure pattern and a short. You do not want to catch the top while we are moving up and add and add and add to your position because you want the best entry. You are going to get yourself wrecked. Okay, so definitely an area of interest is this weekly level over here. Cool. Let's take the scribble out the way. What else? What else? So either a 5-way structure where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where potentially people start shorting here aggressively, thinking that this is an ABC and we just fall down from here, which is one scenario, or it comes down and it comes to grab the liquidity once more before it falls down. Okay, so definitely a scenario that I'm keeping in mind, but also we can fall down from where we are right now as well, okay, without going to make the third wave, where this is an A, B, C, and then we just tumble down from here. So Elliott waves are nice to see where levels are and levels and targets of confluence. It's not necessarily a tool that I use or a theory that I use to trade. I just add it to my bag of tools, and to see that, well, it is quite nice to see that, well, when you do take a fib extension, that the 1.618 aligns here very beautifully with the weekly level. Okay, cool. So let's take that out the way, and let's go look at CVD. I love me some CVD, and if you guys do not use CVD, in my opinion, it is the best trading indicator out there. Okay, because it gives you real-time information about absorption of longs or shorts, and it has a high accuracy rate. No indicator is perfect, but I've used it with loads of success. Okay, so when we made this little move up here, again, on blue, we formed bullish CVD. So for now, purely from a CVD perspective, when you look at this, and on blue, lower low, higher low on price action, and the target is, okay, the target is this high. Okay. Will it play out? Well, there's a high probability that we will at least take this high and potentially even move further up. Okay, but for now, if you entered a nice little long over here, this is definitely a profit taking area over here, because you might just double top like what happened yesterday and you find momentum here to the downside. Okay. Usually when CVD does not reach the target, you will see some bearish CVD building up, countering the move to the downside. Okay, and at the moment, when I like to then go onto the 5-minute and I zoom into the local price action to look for clues as to, are we still finding strength to the upside, or are we seeing bearish CVD countering the move up? And for now, what I'm seeing right here, okay, still bullish. You can see on blue. Okay, not so much, but we broke that high. Okay, very neutral here at the moment, but I do not see any bearish CVD. Okay, so even looking at this pivot and price moving up, we are still far away from these pivots. So CVD is still quite neutral at the moment, which confirms we can still have momentum to the upside. Okay, cool. Any other comments? Let's look at the comments. Sin Games, I say, forget the triangle. Look at the order book. Bigger players are using patterns against us. Definitely. I do not trade patterns. Okay, I use them because everyone relates to it. It makes the chart look like sense. It makes sense. And also, I love daily and weekly levels, and some of the tools that I do use is the VRVP. Okay, VRVP I also found to be an extremely powerful tool where you can look at high volume nodes. Okay, for example, we have a point of control over here where the highest amount of volume was traded. So typically what then happens is, if we reject it, okay, we came back for a retest at another major point of control. If you zoom into the 4-hour, you guys will actually see what I mean over here. Okay, let's just zoom in here. Let's clean up some of the dailies and the weeklies. Okay. It's nice to put patterns in, but I don't trade it because and I'll show you an example of what happened yesterday as well. Okay, let's just wait for the VRP to load up. Sometimes it takes a while. Okay, you can see high volume node, high volume node. Where did we get rejected yesterday? At one of the high volume nodes. almost tapping it. Okay, and where do we finding consolidation at the moment? At a high volume node. So zooming into, let's say, the 1 hour, VRVP is a very powerful tool in terms of where are great resistance and support. Is to say that when you break out of a high volume node, you want to see a retest and continuation to the upside. Okay, so it gives you clues as to great resistance and support levels in one line. So from this entire zone over here, this is the major point of control where the most volume was traded. And then you can see we have a point of control, we have a point of control up here when you zoom into larger time frames. Okay, so you can see even from this major point of control that I have on top here, not managing to break through, struggling to break through, swing failure patterns all the way through. And this is the levels that I like to trade. This is where I get into longs. This is where I get into shorts. Okay, also nice long opportunity there. You break out, you retest a point of control, and you find continuation to the upside. You now broke out with relatively high volume, so even potential retest could confirm continuation to the upside. Okay, flipping this resistance into support. Cool. What else? What else? Let's look at Ethereum. So just want to see bullish, bearish. We'll discuss some bearish case scenarios now. One thing I've noticed about Ethereum is when you look at ETH to BTC, okay, the strength of Ethereum over Bitcoin. I've been tracking this little parallel channel here to the downside, okay. Nicely inside the channel, just tumbling down, and then we had an attempt to break out, and you'll see I had a little bull flag there, not that you can trade this chart anyways, and then we found continuation to the downside. What I do like about what I'm seeing over here is that when you have a candle with high volume, which is also called a vector candle, okay, what you want to do is you want to take the bottom of this candle to the top of the candle, and then you mark out your 50, then you've got your 50% FIP level over there. Usually, even when you have a fake out to the bottom or fake out to the top, if you find support at the 50% vector candle, it increases the probabilities of bullish momentum to the upside. And here you can see we tested the 50% FIP level of this vector candle, and we now looks like we are finding strength to the upside. And this is what could potentially, but I'll use the words could and potentially, be bullish for Ethereum. You know, the child that everyone is ignoring is to say that ETH is now finding strength over Bitcoin. So let's look at what is happening at the ETH chart. Nice little breakout here. I had a major point of control. I think if I go back onto the daily, let's just zoom out a bit and see where we are in this daily structure. Okay. This major point of control that I have over here is from this consolidation and bull market that we had during 2020. Okay, cool. So we've been struggling to break through. Nice deviation above, and then we back below the point of control. And could this now be another attempt at breaking this point of control, perhaps flipping it into support for continuation to the upside? But also we've been respecting this channel very nicely, you know. Connecting this low and this high gives you the channel, and you can see we've tested it, rejected, not managing to break this resistance. Okay, came down, tested the bottom of the channel again, and then we tapped the top of the channel to perfection, right? And we've also did a RS flip over here where we had resistance, not managing to break through. We've now broken through, and we are holding. We need to hold this support, RS flip, for continuation to the upside. So is there still gas in the tank for Ethereum to do this? Okay, at the moment, from a technical perspective, we have flipped resistance into support. Okay, so this looks bullish for now, right? If we had to come back down, break the support, consolidate below for a retest of the scene of the crime, we could find ourselves going down once more, potentially testing the bottom of the channel and also this trend line that I have over here. Okay, and that trend line I get from, if I zoom in a little bit, connecting these pivots. Okay, where we broke out. We did have sort of a retest over there. Let me just take the scribble out the way so everyone can see. Okay, almost had a retest, not a proper retest, and off to the races we went. Nice little momentum to the upside. Just want to see if I still have my Elliott wave scenarios here. Okay, this was one Elliott wave scenario that I had, is to say that you reject even potentially from where we are right now. So I can move this now a little bit. This is one Elliott wave count. Is where we reject from where we are right now. Okay, this is the bearish count. We make an A wave to the downside. We come back, you test, retest the scene of the crime where you lost the support. You make a C wave, and then we find momentum to the upside. So from a bearish perspective, this is the count that I'm looking at. Then bullish. Okay. Wanted to know more or less where the price of Ethereum can go. If we do successfully break out from here, I do see the first stop here by $3,500, where you have a 1, 2, 3. So look at the white count over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you start building impulsive waves to the upside. You have an A, B, C correction, and then you continue the journey to the upside. Right, and then inside each leg you have 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, and we are now potentially busy with the third wave, which could take us to $3,500. Okay, but nothing's guaranteed, and that's why I'm showing both a bullish and a bearish scenario. Right, so definitely I think in the short term, if we do find strength here to the upside, break this channel, the first stop is also in confluence with this high, and we have a weekly level here as well. Okay, just for interest's sake, if I measure this move, let's see, if I take a fib and I measure wave 1, where's the 1.618? The 1.618 is here by the monthly level. Okay, so we could have a shorter wave 3 as well. We have a retest of the channel, and then you go and complete your 5th wave, which is then your bigger 3, still at the weekly level. Right, so perhaps something like that. Okay, cool. I hope that makes sense. This is potentially what I'm seeing on Ethereum at the moment, and only time will tell whether Bitcoin is going to play ball, because I just want to take us back here to say, let's go on to the daily. I just want to see something here. Switch off the VRVP. Looking at the daily structure over here. Okay, let's just clean this up a little bit. There is still a possibility. Okay, just purely, let me first tackle the bearish scenario. Bearish scenario is, we've made higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, and higher lows, and then we broke market structure over here. Okay, so what everyone is waiting for is that lower high, and where that lower high will be, no one knows. Okay, but there's definitely a possibility that this was a liquidity grab. You grab the liquidity, and then you find momentum back to the upside. And the reason I say there is still a possibility for us to go and hit the $50,000 level, because you don't just want to be bearish. Everyone is looking for the lower high over here, the lower high, and then the lower high doesn't come and it does this. Okay, what no one is expecting at the moment is to say, if I look here on the daily and I go measure, what's interesting to me is a wave 1, 2, 3 to the upside. If you take a fib extension from the bottom, okay, and it can either be a 1, 2, 3, or it can be a 1, 2, 3, but let's keep it simple. Let's put the 1 over here to the bottom. Okay, your 1.618 is a common third wave target, which we have not hit. You can see we rejected here by the 1.382. Okay, so there is still a possibility that if this is indeed a third wave, we could still come and tap this level before we see a deeper correction to the downside. Okay, but nonetheless, these targets are also 3-wave targets or third wave targets. It's just the 1.618 is a common third wave target, but not necessarily a minimum target. Okay, as long as your third wave is longer than 1, which it is. So therefore it's a valid wave. And we could, purely looking from a market structure perspective, because we made the lower low, we could be making a lower high for continuation to the downside. Okay. Let's look at the comments. What is everyone thinking? Order book, bigger players, I've read that. Okay, not much interaction from everyone today. And I think I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go get in bed, take some meds. Hopefully I'll feel better soon. Until the next one, thanks for joining. Cheers for now.